Hi, out of the box here. Today, I'm going to explain a German-American psychological thriller mystery film called Flight Plan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. It may be an extreme night for Kyle Pratt. Kyle is an American airplane built, as of late widowed by the death of her husband in Berlin. She has got to take her husband's body on a flight to the US with her 4 long-time-old girls, Julia, to offer assistance to her with her anxiety. Kyle takes pills as endorsed by her doctor. The next morning, it is snowing outside, and a taxi is holding up for them to require them to the airport. While at the airplane terminal, Kyle loses Julia. She panics. She sees outsiders, couples, non-natives, and adults. There's Julia, over by a sundry stand. With an irate tone, she prompts her not to wander around without her permission. Kyle and Julia will, before long, boarding a plane that Kyle made a different design. They are the primary ones to enter the cabin. Then she steams that window up with her breath and draws a small heart within the steam with her finger, a little clumsy heart. Awakening from her rest, she realizes that Julia has vanished from her seat. Kyle tries to inquire about other travelers, but none of the travelers recall seeing her. A flight specialist recommends that Julia can be playing with children of her age. Kyle strolls down the path, attempting to discover her, but still no sign of Julia. Kyle proceeds to see around with an unease that's starting to grow. She rechecks their push, where they'd fallen asleep. She looks beneath that cover and finds the one-armed bear. Julia wouldn't go anyplace without her bear. Then she contacts a flight orderly, Stephanie, to assist her to discover Julia. Stephanie agrees to assist her and makes a declaration of a lost child. A minute afterward, in any case, to her astonishment, Stephanie tells her there's no record of her girl boarding the flight. Kyle is confused. She is exceptionally beyond any doubt her girl was there with her, so she tries to prove it by showing her boarding pass. In any case, Kyle is incapable to discover Julia's boarding pass. And she moreover finds that her daughter's rucksack is lost from the overhead container, which is impossible since Julia couldn't have reached up here by herself. She's not tall enough. Seeing this circumstance, a sky marshal, Quality Carson, starts to monitor her while she's looking for her daughter. Kyle requests to see the captain, Marcus Wealthy, to urge him included in the look for her daughter. Hearing that there's no record of her girl boarding the flight, the captain inquires in the event that Kyle is beneath any pharmaceutical right now. Kyle says that she was taking resting pills to assist her with uneasiness due to her husband's death. Kyle uncovers that her husband passed on falling from their roof 6 days prior, which she denies accepting was suicide. The captain and the other group individuals suspect that Kyle has ended up unhinged by her husband's death and has envisioned bringing her girl on board. Kyle demands on seeking out Julia from nose to tail. Captain Rich reluctantly concurs and orders the crew members to do a careful search. The lights within the cabin are turned on. A declaration is made to all travelers not to take off their seats. Stephanie goes down to the aeronautic segment, looking around, but still no 4-year-old girls. While Pratt is actively looking, she sees an Egyptian. She stands up to him as she recognizes him from somewhere. She tries to keep it in mind, but her brain's too scrambled right now. Kyle at that point inquires the captain to explore for Julia within the cargo hold. Captain Rich doesn't permit that, and furiously states that there are hundreds of passengers on this flight who are not accepting any consideration at the minute, since all flight attendants are actively conducting exploration for a child that none of them accept was ever on board. She at that point runs to the Egyptian. She blames the man of kidnapping her girl, as she presently recalls that she saw him last night, gazing into her daughter's bedroom. The man is irritated at being blamed. At that point, he appears to have proof of receipt of the lodging where he lived, which is no place close to her apartment. Kyle powers the man to confess. They fight. Carson, who is encouraged up with her behavior, states that her husband's passing makes more sense now. A couple of hours with her, and indeed he is prepared to jump. Not long after, Captain Marcus gets a wire from the clinic in Berlin that says Julia was with her father when he fell off the roof and conjointly kicked the bucket of internal injuries. Now, the team accepts she is delusional. Kyle irately denies it. She is very sure that Julia is still lively and still on the plane. Carson presently feels that Kyle could be a risk by making up such a story, so he cuffs her and keeps her in her seat. An advisor Lisa approaches and tries to comfort her, causing Kyle to question her own sanity. She presently starts to accept her daughter's death. However, she at that point takes note that a heart Julia had drawn prior on the window another to her seat is real. Kyle gets to be progressively persuaded that something peculiar is going on. She at that point persuades the advisor to let her utilize the bathroom. Instead of doing so, she climbs into the upper compartment and subverts the aircraft's electronics, deploying the oxygen covers and hindering lighting. All travelers and teams begin to freeze, but Carson realizes that Kyle is the one behind this. She uses the chaos to require a dumper to the lower cargo deck. She finds her husband's casket there. She opens David's casket, suspecting Julia is inside, but finds as it were her husband's body. And nothing else. Carson finds her, puts her in binds, and escorts her back, declaring that the flight is making an emergency stopover at Goose Narrows Air Terminal, where she will be taken into custody. As she's escorted to her seat, one of the travelers starts to applaud. The praise spreads, filling the deck. Some others are gazing at her, counting the Egyptian. Kyle comes to the back push, where she stops and sits there. Kyle makes a last supplication to Carson that she should look at the plane upon landing. Carson considers for a minute, at that point chooses to speak to the captain. However, rather than talking to the captain, he sneaks down to the cargo deck. There, he evacuates 2 explosives and a detonator concealed in David's, Kyle's spouse, casket. He at that point climbs down to the flying segment and joins the explosives to the side of the stage, uncovering Julia, who is resting. At this point, it is uncovered that Carson has been the plan behind all of this. Carson and Stephanie have contrived to seize the airplane for a $50 million deliver and frame Kyle due to her information of the plane. They stole Julia to drive Kyle to unlock the casket, where he set the explosives and detonator. Carson tells the captain that Kyle may be a robber and debilitates to blow up the airplane unless the aircraft exchanges $50 million into a bank account. Carson at that point tells an terrified Stephanie that he is serious to blow up the plane, slaughtering the unconscious Julia and taking off Kyle dead with the detonator in her hand. Kyle still couldn't accept everything that has happened. She restlessly looks out of the window as the plane is almost to land. Other travelers are confused since the crisis landing. After landing, the travelers exit the aircraft. As the captain is taking off, Kyle goes up against the captain, who furiously declares that the ransom has been paid. Kyle is befuddled by this. Soon, she realizes that all this can be Carson's doing. He uses the circumstance to bend the truth and makes it see, as in case Kyle could be a terrorist. Realizing this truth, Kyle chooses to require advantage of the part of ruffian, commanding Carson to stay on board and the group to leave. Carson delays, but he realizes that, if he denies it, it would be seen that the charade would be his. As before long as the plane's entryway closes, Kyle thumps Carson oblivious with a fire extinguisher, handcuffs him to a rail, and takes the detonator from his pocket. Stephanie comes out of hiding. Carson recaptures consciousness. He chases after Kyle, shooting until she locks herself within the cockpit. She opens a hatch door to the plane's upper room and tosses out a cover to trick him. Carson listens the upstairs crash and leaves. Kyle exits and experiences a guilt-ridden Stephanie. She punches her, who alarms and instantly escapes the plane. Kyle proceeds to explore for her girl to the flying, and she finds Julia there, unconscious. She instantly embraces her and carries her. Carson soon takes after, and whereas looking, uncovers that he killed her husband to smuggle the explosives inside his casket, knowing that it would not be filtered at the checkpoint. Kyle promptly carries Julia into the aircraft's non-combustible hold. With the detonator in hand, Carson shoots at her as she closes the door. With the non-combustible walls of the hold to ensure them, she explodes the explosives, exploding the plane, slaughtering Carson. The travelers and group watch the blast in shock. A minute afterward, Kyle shows up with her daughter. As Kyle carries her girl out onto the landing area, all the travelers are stunned upon realizing that she had been telling the truth the complete time. The following morning, at the air terminal, Captain Rich approaches and apologizes to Kyle for his skepticism. Stephanie is driven away by the FBI in cuffs, wherein an operator advises them that the Berlin morgue executive has to be arrested. Kyle carries Julia through the swarm of travelers who realize the truth. All are shocked, and to some degree guilt-ridden for not accepting her. Before loading her girl into a van to require them absent, Julia wakes up and sleepily asks, "Are we there?" However, as they get prepared to leave. In the last scene appears the Egyptian traveler makes a difference to choose up her sack as an act of respect and forgiveness. That's the ending of the movie Flight Plan. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.